In the wake of last week's diplomatic face-off, Nigeria has expressed respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its northern neighbor, Niger Republic. In a statement, the Nigerian government invited the Nigerian government to a discussion on issues of mutual interest between both West African countries. This follows the military ruler of Niger Republic, General Abdurrahmani Tijani's accusation that Nigeria is involved in a plot to undermine the security of his country through terrorist group Lakurawa. The tension between Nigeria and Niger Republic goes back to the military coup in Niger in 2023, which also led to the severing of ties with regional bloc, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Well, Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale now joins us to look at the need for Nigeria and Niger Republic to improve ties for their mutual interest. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure being here as you are in the New Year.
So what do you make of this olive branch that Nigeria has extended to Niger Republic after the weighty accusation that our northern neighbors made?
You see, this is like a quarrel between brothers. Like I read somewhere that Niger Republic and the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they are like sisters. But sisters have different dispositions and different ways of looking at things. I think the fact that we are closer than we thought was shown in the way ECOWAS reacted to the coup in Niger and the way Nigerians reacted to the threat of military intervention. So it makes it quite clear that there are underlying forces for and against good diplomatic relations between us and Niger Republic. And they are not far-fetched. Colonialism turned us into different types of Africans. See, the French colonization policy was acculturation and assimilation. And it's bad enough that we are Africans, we don't speak the same language. They are Francophone, we are. So we need somebody to translate, even when we relate. But you see, until the Europeans created the border, if you look at the map of West Africa, Niger sits on top of us from northwest to northeast. So it's a vast border. And you see, they are landlocked. We have access to the sea. You see, it's because they have some suspicion for us, or maybe the French wanted it so. That's why they built a pipeline to Benin Republic, which is French-speaking. Whereas it would have been easier, given the proximity we have with them. Although the last president tried to consolidate on that by building the one railway line from Niger through to Nigeria. So in terms of proximity, in terms of geography, we are birds of the same feather. But you see, they are more under pressure because they are more situated in the Sahel. In the Sahel. So we need to find a way of diffusing the great tension that exists between us. And it's difficult to say, but I will say it. It's a cultural issue. You get me? You have a common enemy. The climate is there, creating, chasing people from the Sahel down south, looking for food. But they are stuck there, but they have to run their government. And now they have sent the French packing, and they are relying on the Russians. And the Russians too have problem with Ukraine, so they are not giving them their full time. They have insecurity problem, and we can help more. Whether they like it or not, we can help more. Accusing Nigeria of the Lakurawa support is not on, because you know they are terrorizing us too.
No, but you know, Mr. Sobowale, I've heard some analysts, say that it seems the Nigerian president actually prioritized regional interest over its own security and territorial interest, while dealing with Niger, which is, no, they said the Nigerian president prioritized regional interest over its own security and territorial interest in dealing with Niger, which is part of what led to this crisis?
No, the coup led to the crisis. You get me?
And in reacting to the coup, we prioritize regional interest.
Of course. That's to protect democracy. That is not far-fetched.
But should regional interest supersede our own national interest?
I don't see it that way at all. The regional interest is ECOWAS interest. Get me? And the regional interest is to make military intervention unattractive. Get me? And something that they have to pay for. Get me? Because democracy is, democracy creates more inclusion, equity, and fairness in the choice of running a country. Get me? But everyone look at the issue that prompted the coup, security. They said the civilian regime was not dealing with the terrorists who are jihadists invariably. You get me? They said the civilian was not. When they got there, the onslaught of the jihadists got fiercer. They couldn't. It has caused problem in Mali. It has caused problem in Ouagadougou too. So there's need for dialogue. You get me? But that dialogue has to be centered on providing security first and foremost. And in providing security, there is the religious element, which we have our own problem there in tackling Boko Haram, because soldiers, they are Muslims, and it's difficult at times for them to fight those they consider as Muslim brothers. The same thing. That was why we formed the Lake Chad Security Force. You get me? We Chad, DJ, and the countries that surround us. But you see, in the case of Niger, it sits on top of Nigeria. You get me? So we are closer to them. So we must find a way. See, when you spoke of the regional interest, Nigeria has been a sort of big brother to most of these people. We have intervened in Liberia, we have intervened in Sierra Leone, we have intervened in, not alone, but with joint forces. If I wish to be commended for that, and not, it's not a matter of weighing regional interest with national interest. So, this time around, anyway, it is Nigeria making the overture. And they have problems because, you see, military intervention, when you come in, you are popular. But if you can't manage the economy, sooner than later, people will be clamoring for you to go. In Mali, another, one military regime has succeeded another. They have not solved the problem. The Russians they brought in have a problem going back, going home to go and defend themselves against Ukraine. So it is left for us to paddle our own canoe as Africans, in spite of our colonial background, which has created two identities for us as Africans, Francophone African, English-speaking African. But there are things that should be sorted out.
So before I let you go, Mr. Sobowale, what do you think Nigeria could have done better in managing relations with Niger following its coup? And then how do we prevent further deterioration with Niger and even other neighboring countries going forward?
Right. You see, I have no regret about the action we took. You get me? That was to deter military intervention. But at the same time, we all saw that our Muslim brothers in the north don't like that action. And since we are a federation, we have to accommodate that. And that is why I think the overshot to Niger is because we are the big brother. That's we can afford to be magnanimous. You get me? Because they are accusing us. But you see, we know that if we alienate them, invariably it will affect our regional unity and it will affect trade and create tension for us in terms of our internal politics. Because our brothers who are in the north, east, northwest, the entire north, they have blood relations with Niger. So it's a matter of political accommodation and diplomatic, how do I put it? Diplomatic goodwill, in spite of the political situation or the military intervention. It's not popular nowadays. It was popular in the 60s. was no longer popular. And if we make our own democracy work well, like we are all struggling to now, if we make it work well and put food on the table for our people, then the military, the Nigerians will see that it's not profitable to have military intervention.
Very well said, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, a Rise News analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.